This full moon in Capricorn is the ending to a chapter, but there's more to the story. Hey y'all, I'm Jasmeen, the owner of House of Chiron Astrology and Reiki, and I make the language of astrology digestible for all of y'all. So welcome to my channel, and if you are in fact new here, welcome in, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you will not miss anything that I upload. All right, so something just to kind of keep in mind how we operate things here at House of Chiron's channel. We do full moon and new moon readings separately every month. I go into deep detail about the energy, but then I also go into detail about what this is going to bring for you based on your sun, moon, and or rising sign. Also, I give a podcast that happens every month and it goes over all of the energy for that month. So you can also catch that here. And then I have like little videos in between and whatnot that kind of goes over like, different energies that are coming up. So in addition to me, teaching and sharing insight about astrology as well as Reiki and energy healing and mental health and all that good stuff, this is where you can find all of that. That's your one-stop shop for all things healing. Okay. So, with that being said, today we are going to be gathered here to talk about this full moon that happens at 1 degrees Capricorn. Okay. It happens on June 21st or June 22nd, just depending on where you are in the world. And so, just a quick overview of what this is going to be bringing us. Okay. The Capricorn full moon, like I mentioned, the 21st and or the 22nd. So the summer solstice happened on the 20th, and it's one of the most early like solstice that we had in years, I can say. And so this is really amplifying the power and the magnetism of this full moon. And something that we are, simply aware of is that full moons do draw energy up and out of us, right? Which is why they're very powerful, they're very intense, and they bring up a lot of emotions, right? And so this is what makes full moons a very powerful portal for releasing, completing things, and even unearthing new information, right? And so, in the practical and disciplined sign of Capricorn, when a full moon occurs, it emphasizes those themes of Capricorn, right? So that's career, that's ambition, that's your public life, your public persona, your responsibilities to the world, it's your overall goals, right? And so this full moon is part one of a two-part story, right? It is a moment to take stock of your professional goals and achievements, assess your progress, make necessary adjustments to align with your long-term objectives. And like I said, it's part one, part two. And so we'll get into that later on, but this energy is really encouraging us to take a deep assessment of how far we have come and urging us to make those necessary adjustments to align to our longer term objectives, right? Releasing things, recognizing things. So if you have something that you've been working on that needs to launch, maybe it's the time to do so. If you are needing to let certain things go, whether it's within your career or other goals and things, then maybe it's time to release and let that go. Or maybe this is just a culmination of something. A cycle is ending, something is wrapping up. Okay. So now Capricorn's influence during this full moon is really emphasizing, like I mentioned, the career and your responsibilities, but also the importance of structure, responsibility, and determination. Wherever you are in your life, wherever you are in achieving those goals, where and how can you take responsibility? Where is the accountability? Where is the discipline that is required to actually achieve it? How are you on those things, on those topics, on those various aspects of that Capricorn energy? So it's also a powerful time to evaluate the foundations that you've built in your career, your public endeavors, your overall goals, right? Recognizing not only those things, but your accomplishments in these areas, but also the need for improvement. If you're not being accountable for your progress or anything like that, where can you show up in with more accountability in that area? What can you do to improve that area, right? So the Capricorn full moon is also about stepping into alignment. And so it beckons us to really like be into alignment by taking that full ownership of our lives, right? We must claim that all of the choices that we have made, and we must claim those and accept our current circumstances. So this is not to imply that we are responsible for everything that happens, to us, so to speak. And I always say nothing happens to us, everything happens for us, but we are responsible with dealing with it. It's not necessarily what you go through, it's how you get through it, right? So the acceptance of our situations that is allowing us to rise up and find new power, finding success, finding that determination, finding that discipline and that accountability of things. And so if we step up under this June Capricorn full moon, embracing the I accept kind of mantra, possibly miracles can happen under this solstice moon, because it's happening so close, literally like the day or so after the solstice. So very powerful. And the solstice already represents new beginnings, right? So this is like having that accountability to let something go, to recognize something, to, take stock of what's there, so that way you can start a new beginning, so you can start anew, right? And talking about some of the symbolism that's associated with the Capricorn, it's the sea goat, right? And so seeing that as a spirit guide with this full moon, and during the next full moon that's coming, this mythical sea goat, it's half goat, half fish, is symbolizing both the mastery of both land and sea, right? And so it's earth and water. And this unique kind of creature teaches us to really be more, more multifaceted in nature, right? Embrace that multifaceted nature that we have, taking responsibility for all aspects of our lives, and also doing so by accepting and embracing all that we are. Taking the sea goat, we unlock our true potential and success if we take into account of, the earth element, being stable, being grounded, being practical, but also going with the flow, also allowing that water energy to nurture us, right? To grow us in ways. So now, I was previously talking about how this is part one of part two, right? There's more to the story. This is a duet of Capricorn full moon. So the first one is happening on June 21st or 22nd, depending on where you are in the world. And this is the first of two Capricorn full moons. This one is happening at 1 degree, but the one that's arriving on July 21st is happening at 29 degrees. So this is suggesting that the themes and issues that are arising right now will continue to unfold and reveal themselves all the way into July, bringing a deeper understanding and possibly resolutions, right? So you might release something, you might let something go, you might have an understanding of something new might unfold, or some type of awareness might come up during this time between now and the end of July. And also, this is the second one is happening right as Cancer season begins. Or excuse me, not begins, ends. So right as Cancer season is wrapping up, we have this other Capricorn full moon that's all about releasing and letting things go. So it's like, okay, we're taking stock at the beginning of Cancer season, and then at the end of Cancer season, it's like, okay, did you get it? All right, now let's move forward, right? And then we move on into the bold Leo season. So now, keep in mind that this particular Capricorn full moon that happens at 1 degrees is going to be square Neptune and Pisces. Now, it's an out of sign, kind of like square. So Neptune is at 29 degrees in Pisces. So this full moon is going to be making a challenge to Neptune and Pisces, adding a little bit of complexity to this energy. And so Neptune's influence can bring confusion, it can bring illusion, it can bring disillusionment, it can make things a little difficult to see, where things aren't necessarily clear, especially regarding our ambitions and practical matters. There also may be a tendency towards idealism or escapism, especially because Capricorn is all about taking responsibility. And we might be like, hey, it's summertime, we outside, we ain't trying to be responsible right now, we just trying to have fun. And Neptune is going to be like, yeah, let's like, have fun. Let's, kind of like shy away from that. But then that Capricorn full moon is going to be bringing things into full illumination, like, hey, take care of it. But if you don't, it's going to repeat itself in the one for the full moon that happens in July. Okay. So it's just going to be telling us that we require some grounding and a very much so realistic approach, and not to be caught up in the clouds about things. Like, yes, use your imagination, use your visionary mindset, tap into your intuition and all those beautiful things that Neptune has, and harness those things, but also be realistic, so you know, that Neptune energy can really cloud our judgment and also blur boundaries. And Capricorn is all about boundaries. So things can be leading to misunderstandings or unrealistic perceptions of our professional path or our perspective on things, or, you know, just kind of like, how do we get there? It might not necessarily be clear. You know, so it's really crucial to be mindful of this and kind of strive to maintain a sense of clarity and discernment while we're dealing with this Capricorn full moon, because ultimately full moons are all, you know, very much so emotional. So we might be having some, you know, kind of like I'm not going to say depressive, but more pessimistic, I will say, might be a little pessimistic with things instead of optimistic. So just kind of be aware with that. All right. Now, how to navigate this full moon, I was given some tips here and there, but just kind of, you know, keep in mind these are some good steps to kind of take into account. Reflect and reassess, right? So reflect on your professional journey, you know, ask yourself some things, right? Here's some journal prompts that you can possibly have. Are your goals and achievements aligned with your true aspirations and capabilities, right? Practicality, you know, adjust as needed and stay true to your path and true to your growth, okay? Another thing that we can keep in mind is to stay grounded, avoid getting lost in fantasies, focus on practical steps and tangible actions that help us move forward, right? Grounding practices such as mindfulness, meditation, spending time in nature that can really help us maintain clarity and stay grounded and being practical in our approaches to things. Also, we can seek some clarity, right? So if we're feeling confused or uncertain, seek advice from a reliable source, you know, whether it's your counselor, your therapist, mentor, a trusted friend, someone that has, you know, some knowledge and some wisdom that can share a different perspective. An outside perspective can always offer some clarity in things because you can see it. They can see things that you can't, right? Outside looking in. Okay. And so also something else to keep in mind is balance our dreams with reality. Balancing that can be, you know, helpful because, you know, with a realistic understanding of what our current situation is, you know, it will help us be able to make better, well-informed decisions for the future, right? Avoid overcommitting to projects. That's also another one because that might not be feasible during this time, right? You know, doing the absolute most. Mm-mm. You know, because sometimes we get super ambitious and sometimes that's at a detriment. So keep that in mind. And then also just make sure you embrace patience, right? That's the Capricorn's energy. It's all about patience and perseverance. Keep going, but take your time, right? Trust that even small steps contribute to a long-term success. So it's going to get you where you need to go. It's not going to be immediate gratification because we're dealing with Capricorn energy. Slow steps, progress, okay? Now, since I was talking about this solstice full moon, right? So the solstice full moon is always powerful, right? The universe wants us to really release all those blocks and those things that are keeping us from realizing our dreams and potential. So often what blocks us is acceptance. And like I was talking about the seagull, it's about rising up and accepting all that you are, all that you are, and all that you have been given. You know, this is about mastering your destiny by accepting your fate rather than resisting it, right? Because during this time with Uranus being in Taurus, resistance is futile. And so you might as well just go with the flow and flow with the changes that are happening right now. And additionally, what we can do is look back at the intentions that we set 6 months ago under the December solstice of 2023, right? And so I'll be coming out with a video regarding that also to kind of give you an insight, but, you know, just reflect on how they have manifested in any identity blocks or anything that you can use to kind of like see different blocks, you know, whether it's within your identity, within your goals or whatever, your relationships, any area of life. And just kind of like being able to recognize those things and making the necessary changes to release them, right? In order to make your intentions come true. Now, starting with acceptance and responsibility will definitely help you. And experiencing these things, you know, it's kind of like climbing the mountains, right? Rewards of, you know, climbing a mountain and reaching the top, right? So very much so that. Also keep in mind, like, you know, embracing this disciplined energy of Capricorn and being mindful that Neptune is here. And Neptune may have that potential to cloud our judgment and want, you know, make us want to like escape from things. So use this full moon to really make meaningful progress in not only our career and public life, but also our overall goals, whatever that looks like, and aligning our actions with our true ambitions and creating that solid foundation for future growth, that solid foundation in order to build something new. If you keep in mind that Capricorn rules and governs all structures, that means buildings, that means government structures, that means anything that takes form, so to speak, right? And Capricorn governs all that. So in order to build a house that's going to stand the test of time, it needs to have a solid foundation. So kind of look at this as releasing anything that's keeping your foundation from being solid, or even filling the cracks within the foundation so you can have a solid foundation. So that is what I have for the overall energy of this Capricorn full moon at 1 degrees. And so before we get into the readings for all 12 signs, I have a few quick announcements. First and foremost, if you have not done so already, go ahead and mosey on over to my brand new website. It was freshly done and it's so cute and beautiful. The branding is everything. So go ahead and check that out. For a very limited time, I'm going to be offering 39% off all of my astrology readings as well as my Reiki services. I'm not sure when I will end that, so get it while it is there. And once all the readings are gone for this month, they're gone. I'm not sure if I'll renew the 39% off next month, but like I said, I'm a Gemini, I changed my mind. So I have the 39% off because I am currently in my 39th solar year. So that is that. So that's my gift to you all for my birthday. And yeah, so I'm really excited about it. The House of Chiron shirts and merch and all that good stuff is still there. And if you are looking to book anything, go ahead and look at that website. Also, don't forget the free PDF cheat sheet is there also. You just go to the website, put your email in, and they'll send you an email to download the ebook. And you have 30 pages of free astrology, like basic information to help you kind of like follow along and understand just the very basics of astrology. So there you have it. So those are my announcements that I have. And yeah, now let's dive right on into the astrology for all 12 zodiac signs. So first and foremost, before you listen to this, make sure you are listening for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Your rising is going to be first in primary. That directly reflects, the most accurate reading for your sign. It is the area of your life that's directly being impacted by this full moon. Secondary will be your sun sign. That reflects your focus, your goals, and maybe even your career. And then last but not least, is going to be your moon sign, and that is your home, family life, current living situations, but also can be very subjective. It's more about your emotional world. So kind of keep that in mind, okay? Okay, so starting off with Aries, sun, moon, and rising, this Capricorn full moon, about to say new moon. This Capricorn full moon is happening in your 10th house of career, public image, and authority. This also has a lot to do with your responsibilities to the world. And it's highlighting that career and public image sector, right? So it's urging you to reflect on your professional achievements and your aspirations. And this is really a powerful time so that way you can assess and reassess your goals, make necessary adjustments and changes if necessary. Just be cautious of Neptune's influence that I previously mentioned. That's going to possibly cause some confusion, maybe some unrealistic expectations. So really focus on just staying grounded, focus on like practical steps to achieve your ambitions, and make sure that you're practicing the pause to ensure that you're seeing everything with clarity. All right, so for Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your 9th house of higher learning, travel, philosophies, your beliefs. So it's illuminating those beliefs, your higher education, any travel plans that you may have. And it's a time to reevaluate your philosophical views, your long-term goals, the overview, like catching the bird's eye view of things. And Neptune square to this energy might blur the lines a little bit, causing idealistic thinking, maybe seeing situations with rose-colored lenses. So just ensure that your plans are realistic and grounded, whether it's travel, education, so on and so forth. Use this energy to align to higher aspirations with practical steps, okay? So for Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your 8th house. So this is a house of shared resources, transformation, intimacy, and the focus here is on that transformation and resources. So it's prompting you to really assess the financial partnerships and deep emotional connections that you may have in your life or that you desire to bring into your life. And Neptune's influence can create misunderstandings when it comes to your finances. So whether you are investing in certain things or you are receiving money from like an employer, there may be some confusion about your pay, things of that nature. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just also have have a realistic view regarding your shared assets, because there is a possibility for you to have an idealistic view instead. So just stay clear headed, mostly, and practical about your joint finances, whether you are sharing your finances with the partner or your partner's finances could be coming, or what this also could indicate that this is like releasing or letting go of some type of financial situation that you previously have been dealing with. Also could indicate some debts, but things are not necessarily clear at this time. So just kind of trust the transformative process that's taking underway right now. All right. So for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your seventh house. So this is about relationships, partnerships, contracts. It's shining a light on that area of your life. And it's a time to evaluate the balance and harmony in your personal as well as your professional connections, the contracts and agreements that you have made. And Neptune square can also bring that confusion or unrealistic expectations that you can place on your partner, or the things that the unrealistic expectations that you place on a contract that you have. Just I would highly um ward against signing any contracts during this time, because Neptune square is there with this full moon, especially because for you it's in your seventh house of contracts. So what you're signing or what you're agreeing to might not necessarily be what it actually is. So instead, just focus on having clear communication and realistic assessments of whether it's your relationships, business partnerships, contracts, agreements, however. Okay. So moving on to Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This Capricorn full moon is happening in your sixth house of work, routines, your health. And so it's bringing the attention to these areas, whether it's your work environment, your daily routines and habits, or your health or your diet. So it's a good time to reflect on your habits, make improvements where necessary. It's a good time to really pay attention to your health or your diet. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Your work environment, is it healthy for you? Is it unhealthy for you? If so, how are you going to make those changes to make it better? What are you releasing at this time, right? That square with the Neptune might bring some disillusionment or confusion regarding your work or maybe your health routines. They may be bringing up something to the surface, or it could even be dissolving like a health scare or a situation when it comes to your work. Just make sure that you're staying practical and avoid escapist tendencies when it comes to that, like not wanting to go to work because you don't like the environment or something like that. If that's the case, that means you need to take practical steps with getting out of that, right? Ground yourself in reality when setting new health or work related goals. All right. So for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your fifth house. So this is about creativity, romance, children. It's about your hobbies and joy. And so it's highlighting and illuminating those creative projects. So you might be launching or releasing something, or really just embracing the romance in life. Maybe even your romantic life could be illuminated during this time. Also, any matters with children could be coming up to the surface. It's a time to reflect on your passions and how you express yourself creatively. And then that square that's there with Neptune might cause idealistic or unrealistic views in these areas of your life, right? So there may be some miscommunications regarding your children. Just stay grounded and focus on practical steps to nurture your creativity and relationships, okay? So for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your fourth house of home, family, emotional foundations. This is about self-care. This is the matriarch of the family. This is your roots and your traditions and your foundations, those type of things. So the focus is definitely going to be on home and family. It could actually be an actual home. You might be closing on your home. You might be, making changes and adjustments within the home. You could be releasing, or this could be a cycle regarding how you mother, if that's applicable to you, with your children, or releasing something with your mom, right? So the full moon is encouraging you to reassess your domestic environment and your emotional foundations, making sure that all is in alignment and grounded and practical in that way. But Neptune's influence may bring some confusion or idealization regarding family matters, right? There also could be some secrets that come up, right? Because that Neptune energy is there and it could be dissolving illusions. And when illusions are dissolved, truth comes through. So stay practical and grounded when addressing home related issues. Focus on creating a stable and nurturing environment. And that's what's going to really take you to the next level. Okay. Now, for Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your third house. And this is the house of communication, learning, siblings, small trades and skills, short trips and travel of that nature. It also could indicate small business, maybe even your vehicle. So it's illuminating communication, learning, sibling relationships, also your neighbors and your neighborhood. It's a time to reflect on how you convey your thoughts and connect with those around you. Neptune square might actually cause misunderstandings or unrealistic expectations. So just be careful, Scorpio, because this is happening in your third house that you might not necessarily be received when you're speaking in the way that you are trying to get things across, right? Focus on clear and practical communication, making sure that you think about it before you actually say it, right? Because it could come out the wrong way. Maybe even some things could be going on within small business or with travel. So just kind of, keep that in mind. Also, maybe this is like the ending of, a situation with a vehicle. So also just kind of take heed on that as well, right? Because Neptune has the ability to dissolve things. So just kind of, maybe you are paying off your car debt or something, or you are selling your car, you're getting rid of your car in some kind of way. So just use this time to really reassess your learning goals and improve your communication skills. So there also could be some confusion that's happening. Like if you're enrolling in school or enrolling in a certification program, there could be some miscommunication issues with that, okay? So for Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your second house of finances, values, and possessions. And so it brings attention to your finances. How do you make money and income for yourself? Your personal values, the things that you value, the things that bring you pleasure. It's a time to reevaluate your financial status and how it aligns with your core values. Are you making money? Is your job or whatever it is that you're doing to create that income, is it in alignment with what you truly value? Or are you sacrificing your values in order to just make a buck? Are you doing what needs to be done based on societal views? These are some things that might be coming up for you. Now, also, Neptune's influence might cause confusion or idealistic views about money and possessions, right? So you might have an unrealistic, spending that you may think. Like you may think, oh, I have X amount of dollars to spend on this thing, but you really don't because you forgot to account this other bill. So this could also come up where, you may be biting off more than you can chew because that's square with Neptune. So just stay grounded and focus on practical financial planning, making sure that you're checking things, and maybe this could also be the end of financial woes that are happening for you, and just align your spending and your income with your true values. All right. So for Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your sign. So it's in your first house. And this is the house of yourself. This is you, your identity, your personal initiatives, your confidence, your outlook on the world. And so it's illuminating your self image and your personal initiatives, right? How you do things, how you go about seeing things. It's a powerful time to reflect on your identity and your personal goals. Are you doing things that align with who it is that you are, that what you want to do? Or are you doing things based on what society says or what you have seen other people do? Who it is that you truly are. And anything that does not align will be released. And if you don't take care of that now, it will be released during this next time, right? Because the next Capricorn full moon is happening at the 29th degree, which is the anaretic degree. So that's a completely different energy than the first degree, which is where this full moon is happening. Okay. So just make sure that, that you understand that Neptune square might bring some confusion or unrealistic expectations about yourself. Just kind of pace yourself, right? Stay grounded and focus on a realistic self-assessment. You might not see yourself clearly. Others might not see you clearly, right? Or your intentions might not be seen clearly during this time. Use this energy to make practical adjustments to your personal ambitions, okay? Now, for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, this Capricorn full moon is happening in your 12th house of the subconscious. It's about solitude. It's about healing. It's about your dreams. It's about creativity. All of these things are in the 12th house. And it's shining a light on your subconscious. So those things that are in the darkness are going to be coming to the light, and it's going to be activating and initiating a healing process. So it's really a great time to reflect on your inner world and any hidden issues that you may have with yourself, right? Or you may have about, achieving your goals or your career, anything of that nature. So whether it's about discipline or accountability, these things might be coming up. So Neptune's influence may cause confusion or idealization in your spiritual or healing practices. So make sure that you're not utilizing this as like escapism. Make sure there's no spiritual bypassing that's going on, right? Because this is, highly possible with that square to Neptune. So just stay grounded and practical in your introspection and make sure that you don't become too isolated to where you're stuck inward, and where you're not necessarily being realistic in the real world. Focus on a realistic and constructive way to do some self-healing, okay? And last but not least, we have Pisces. So this Capricorn full moon is happening in your 11th house. This has a lot to do with your goals, the groups that you affiliate with, your friends and networking circles, right? Even social media, your social circles. So this is a focus on that, right? Your long-term goals. So it encourages you to reflect on your friendship, your group association, your network, and just making sure that there's a sense of accountability and discipline within that, and that these people are here for the long term. Who are these people that you want in your life? Those type of questions might be coming up during this time. Now, Neptune square might bring some confusion or unrealistic expectations in these areas, right? So just try to focus on staying grounded and practical about your social interactions and your long-term aspirations. Just make sure also that the people that you're meeting during this time, or you might find that you're releasing friendships because they're not in alignment with who it is that you are or your goals, or, just what you want for your life, right? And so it could be releasing during this time because they're not necessarily in alignment, or you could be recognizing people for who they truly are because that disillusionment, right, could be there, and you're like, oh, okay, it's coming down. I can see, the lens is releasing itself. So just use this time to reassess your goals and align them with your true aspirations, as well as, assess your network, assess your friendships, those type of things, and the accountability aspect of things when it comes to achieving your goals. Okay. So that is all that I have for you all for this Capricorn full moon that happens at 1 degrees. All right. So I hope that this has been beneficial and helpful for you all. Make sure that you are doing your release rituals, whatever that looks like. I always like to do release rituals when it comes to like the element, right? So since this is in Capricorn, I like to do some type of release ritual that involves the earth, because it's very, it's the earth energy of Capricorn. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind also. The announcements, just a recap of that: new website, 39% off on astrology readings and Reiki services. The free PDF cheat sheet is on there, excuse me, and also House of Chiron merch is available. So go ahead and book me, go ahead and buy your merch and all the good stuff, get your free guide, and I will talk to you all soon. Happy Capricorn full moon. Bye.